Welcome everybody to the Dan Sports Tips baseball preview for today's games on the 4th of April. Here we are in the kitchen again after a pretty inauspicious start yesterday. You know, we leaned two ways. We leaned to the Royals, we leaned to the Pirates, they both won. We played the Rays and of course they lost. I've got about, I think, 5 games I want to look at today. We've got a full slate, so obviously I'm not going to run through everything because we'd be here all day. And let's see if we can turn it around today. The Houston Astros, for those of you that watched my my outright video, they're one of my picks to win the World Series this year. They open up on the road. They go to the New York Yankees. They send Dallas Keuchel to the mound. He started twice against the Yankees last year. He went 2-0 in those starts, pitching 16 innings, and he didn't allow any runs at all. Now, the Yankees did struggle last year against left-handed pitching. They have attempted to bring some balance to the lineup, bringing in right-handed hitters this off-season, such as Starlin Castro. They will send Masahiro Tanaka to the mound. He has just got the one start against Houston. Allowed 6 runs in 5 innings pitched. And we have to question whether or not his elbow is actually fully back to health. That's been hanging over Tanaka for over a year now. He hasn't had the surgery on it, and you have to ask the question. And I'd lean towards the Astros today. I think on the run line -1.5, they're a decent price, and probably play buying a couple of runs as well. So we'll make 2 plays on this game. The Astros -1.5, and then see if we can hit a nice bigger win with the Astros -3.5 with Bet365. And that's the first game, kicks off this afternoon, and let's hope we can start the day with a winner. Minnesota at Baltimore. The Twins and the Orioles started with, finished last season, with fairly similar records. That was a surprise. It was a good season for Minnesota, and it was disappointing for the Orioles, who'd obviously been to the playoffs the year before. Irvin Santana will take the hill for the Twins. He has suffered in his career a little bit with home runs, but he did seem to solve that last year, only allowing 12. And historically, April has been his best month of the season with an ERA below 2, and he's only lost once in April in the last 3 years. On the other side, for the Baltimore Orioles, Chris Tillman will pitch. April's been his worst month of the year. Around this sort of time of the year, I do like to look for players who historically start slowly. His ERA, as I say, is above 5 for the month of April. And in the last 3 years, he has started 3 times against Minnesota and has an 0-1 record with a 5.28 ERA in those games. If we're correct and Santana has solved the home run issues, Baltimore are a side that have packed their lineup with a lot of low average, low on base percentage hitters that will hit for power, but they'll strike out a lot as well. And it's tough if they don't hit the home run, seeing them winning the game. Now, obviously, Camden Yards is a hitter's ballpark, but I'm certainly willing to take a chance and lay some money on Minnesota to win the game on the money line, and also on run lines of -2.5 and -4.5, because if they don't hit runs, it's difficult to see them as a team that will manufacture them. So if Minnesota can rack up a few runs on Tillman, if he does start slowly again this year, then there's potential there to bag a nice winner as well. Philadelphia Phillies travel to Cincinnati to Great American Ballpark to take on the Reds today. There's not a lot of data for the pitching matchup because you've got Rafael Iglesias, who's only in his 2nd season in the majors. Jeremy Hellickson has pitched 6 years, the first 3 of them with Tampa Bay. And then after, shall we say, a downturn in performance, there was the trade from Tampa Bay to Arizona. Now, Great American Ballpark, another hitter's ballpark. The Reds have got players that can take advantage of that, the likes of Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and Hellickson is a fly ball pitcher. He has struggled a little bit against the home run the last few years. He does average giving up more than 1 for every 9 innings he pitches, whereas Rafael Iglesias generates a lot of ground balls, which does negate the home run threat somewhat. There is talk that Iglesias will be on a pitch count today because he got started late in spring training, and I would be worried about the Reds' bullpen. But on the side of who's going to score runs here, I'd feel a lot more confident about Cincinnati. So I'd be willing to make run line plays on them as well, just to, there's a little bit more confidence both in the pitchers suited to the ballpark and the lineups that the teams are sending out. I'm going to go back to the well that we went to yesterday. Game 2 of the series between Toronto and Tampa Bay sees Drew Smyly facing off against R.A. Dickey. Smyly, 2 starts against Toronto in the last 3 years. He is 1-0 with a very low ERA, below 1.5 in those games. R.A. Dickey does have a much larger sample size. He's another pitcher that seems to start slowly. The highest ERAs through the season for him are in April and May. He's gone 6-6 with a 3.82 ERA in 15 starts the last 3 years against Tampa Bay. If you take out all of the starts and just look at the ones at Tropicana Field, we'll see that he's actually 2-4 with a 4.53 ERA in the 8 starts he's made at Tropicana Field. So I'm willing to go back in on the Rays today and play Tampa Bay -1.5 because I think that could prove to be profitable as well. In summary, I obviously looked at the marquee pitching matchup of the day, Seattle and Texas, with Felix Hernandez facing off against Cole Hamels, but I didn't see anything value-wise there. I was also very close to playing the White Sox on the back of Sonny Gray's horrific start against them towards I think it was in September last year, where he gave up 7 runs in less than 4 innings pitched. And the other obvious plays were to look at the Dodgers and the Nationals and the Cubs, but I just wasn't quite comfortable enough with the run lines being around even money -1.5. I decided to leave those alone. So there we go. That's today's preview. Best of luck. Let's turn it around. We're 0-1. We lost the first one of the year, but onwards and upwards. The only way is up from here. Play ball.